Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Lazy Lab podcast. I'm your host, Mike Ergo, and today we got an awesome guest, Shane Luttrell from Bitterwater Outfitters. What's up, Shane? How you been, man?
Not too bad. How are you?
I'm not too bad myself, dude. Need a little more coffee, but
Always.
all things considered, can't complain, man. So I wanted to get into it, man. Why don't you tell us about yourself, background, history, and what you're doing now, and we got some cool stuff to talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So my name is Shane Luttrell. I'm from Bakersfield, California. Just normal, average, growing up playing sports. Nothing too crazy. Hunting is something that was always big in my family. It was what my grandpa, dad, me, brother, pretty much all the men in the family. The women were invited, but it seemed like they never really wanted to go. After everyone every now and then, but um, so then after high school, went to Cal State here for a little bit. Didn't work out. Uh, just kind of, I guess, first time in the real world. Didn't know what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Um, First big assignment showed up. And they're like, "All right, turn that in." I was like, "What did you tell us about that?" Like the first day of class. Like, "Oh, you didn't remind me." Oh, okay. Um, but so then I had a bunch of friends join the army. So I ended up joining the army. Did 6.5 years. Ended up getting out as a staff sergeant, E6. I was infantry and got kind of lucky, but unluckily, I had an airborne contract. So went to jump school right after basic training. And then the unlucky part was I never got to an airborne unit after that. They sent me to a striker brigade. But also was lucky with that is it being an E1 with jump wings. One, everybody thought I was from a different duty station and got demoted.
Yeah.
And then two, it was just showed that I could go to a school and pass them. So I got to go to a lot of opportunities just because I was new with a school under my belt that E4s specialists that had
Yeah, they all
deployments.
wanted it.
They had deployments, but command for whatever reason thought that oh he's already went to a school, we know he can go and do it. So I got some mountaineering courses up in Alaska at the Green Rapids, no, NT Northern Warfare Training Center, NWTC, and then got to go to sniper school. So that's what I did through our deployment, and then ended up at Fort Irwin my last 3 years after leaving Alaska. And after being at Irwin, it's pretty much 10 months out of the year you're living in the desert.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, man. Dude,
decided to go ahead and get out after
how
that.
far away is that from Bakersfield?
It's about 2.5 hours, but the worst part of the drive is the 32 miles from Barstow to Fort Irwin. It's just a straight shot,
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
So I got out, ended up first thinking I was just going to start working, ended up going to Taft College in Taft, California. It's a good 30-minute drive from here. Um, Transferred to back to Cal State. Did it right this time. Then got my bachelor's degree in kinesiology. After that, or while I was doing that, one great program that I found out about was the VA work study program. So while you're in school, you can pretty much get a part-time job working at designated places that usually are all veteran related.
Yeah.
So I was lucky enough to be a VA work study for Taft College when I was there, run the Veterans Club, get
Mhm.
it started because they didn't have one, and then go to when I was at Cal State. There's a gallery here called Portrait of a Warrior Gallery, Kern County, because the original's in Texas. And what they do is they had an artist paint every portrait of a service member who was killed in action from Kern County, which Kern
Mm.
County has 27. So there's 27 big portraits for people who were killed in combat. And then they have other Vietnam room kind of stuff. And now you pretty much clean the place and do tours.
Yeah.
I met a lot of people through that. One being the vice president of Operation Hunt for Heroes, who I am the president of, and this is how I met Matt in Bitterwater.
Yeah.
Jason Geis ran the gallery. He took his stepson to Bitterwater for a pig hunt one day. Ended up kicking it off with Mr. Clayton Grant, who runs the outfitting, all the pig hunts and all the hunts they do there. And he was like, "Hey, I've been wanting to do stuff for veterans. I just didn't know anybody, how to get it started, anything. You want to do it?" So one day I'm in the gallery and I just see his Bitterwater Outfitters pig logo and everything. I think I have their hat right here. So I just seen that
Oh, good, man.
on a little poster. I'm like, "Hey, I like to hunt. What is this about?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I'll catch you up on it. We're gonna do stuff with him." So we get him first time I meet him because it's an hour and a half away from here.
Yeah.
Um, Meet him on Zoom, and they go, "Yeah, we're the president of it right now, but we don't want a conflict of interest and stuff. We know we just want to help veterans, and but we don't want any legal stuff to ever look if they look at it.
Oh, I got it.
People
Yeah.
running the company and then the nonprofit. There have been people before funneling money to back and forth. So like who should be the president?" And they were pretty much, "Oh, Shane would be good for it." It's like, well, I'm glad you think so. I've only met you in 5 minutes on Zoom, but I don't know what I'm doing with nonprofit stuff. I'm like, "Oh, we'll figure it out." And then the Zoom call pretty much ended with everybody agreeing for me to be the president. And I'm like, "All right, we'll make it happen."
Yeah.
And
It's
so,
been decided for you.
yeah. So it's been a good run. And then now we've been doing the joint hunts with Lazy Lab where we've done both. We find the veterans, they find the veterans, they do the Airbnb stuff, and then we do the hunt with Bitterwater. There is talks of us merging. Just makes sense for the way things have gone and are going. It's, I think, inevitable, but there's still some more discussions to have about that before we full send it.
Yeah. What's
And go ahead.
what's a typical hunt like when you're taking vets out?
So with Operation Hunt for Heroes, we were just doing the day hunt where you show up at the range. I bring some of my rifles and stuff because a lot of the veterans that we've taken were people who've never hunted, which is Bitterwater has a couple different ways to do the hunts that makes it anybody can get a good experience.
Yeah.
A big part of it is we want to give the veterans who may not be, you know, may not feel like they have anything, they don't have any hobbies, they adapted rough transitioning out of the military, a hobby. And if
Yeah.
anything else, going out and hunting, it's definitely a good time killer. I like to say I'm a professional nature walker.
Mhm.
I've taken my rifle on walks half the time because it's part of hunting. You might not see anything, especially in California. Um, so I bring all my rifles and pistols and stuff, let them shoot. I bring all the ammo. I've been doing that the last, I guess, year of the hunts. It's been made more sense since we've started doing this stuff with Lazy Lab because now we were just doing the day hunts. Now it turned into they show up Friday evening. Everybody gets to meet there, spend the afternoon just kind of hanging out, not running around getting ready for the hunt.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
Hang out Friday night. I'll drive and meet them. Saturday morning, we wake up. We have to be at the outfitters. Usually, it depends with their schedule, but most of the time we can get away with being there about 7. Fill out all the liability paperwork on their end because they have to do all the if you hurt yourself, as
Yeah.
long as
Yeah. You're not gonna come after
it's
us
up to
all.
you. Yeah, if hurt yourself on our land in a hole, break your ankle, you can't come after us. Um, then we go to the range when we shoot all the guns. That's where we do a lot of one. If they've usually have been using my rifles to hunt with, make sure it's zeroed to them so we don't
Yeah.
want to be wounding any animals or anything like that. Um, Mess around, hang out. Then we'll go back up to the ranch house where the outfitters is. And another part I like about it is there's no phone service there besides a landline. So you have to
Perfect.
spend time with each other,
Yeah.
hang out, find something to talk about. Then we wait for the outfitters. They get us, okay, it's time to go. And most of it is in a side by side little off road vehicle. Either go to the game preserve or if we do the wild pigs, then you would that's where we'll have to be there at 4 a.m. heading out before the sun comes up, getting set up
Yeah.
on a hill somewhere, waiting to see them where they're going, and then afterwards come back, say hey, everybody got one that morning. Then we come back to the ranch house. They'll skin the pigs right there. They have the whole system down with the winches and levers up. They can do it faster than anybody I've seen. And then, or if they want the veteran wants to do it, they have no problem showing you. All the guides are real laid back. They're not. The one thing that we've had individuals on the hunts who've been at other outfitters say is they like Bitterwater because it was more laid back. It wasn't like a full on, which it is a full on professional business, but they didn't
Yeah.
want that. Hey, I'm here doing the hunt. Okay, see you later. Bye. They're making jokes. They're
Yeah, it's
messing
personal.
with you, which I think relates to a lot of veterans. If there's nothing else that we do is mess with each other.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah. You start to wonder, I think, sometimes as a vet, if someone's not making fun of you a little bit, if they actually like you.
yeah, like, oh man, why'd I do this? What'd I do? This guy's not messing with me.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
yeah, they let you use your bow. If you want to use your bow, rifle, they have no problem. They'll waste, and they won't waste. They treat it. They know it's your hunt. If you want to go run around with a bow and it takes all day, they're there all day. And a
Wow.
lot of these guys do this on the weekends just for fun, meeting people, little
Yeah,
extra money, but they'll have full-time jobs after that.
yeah, yeah. So they're doing it because they love it, and
Yep.
that's important. Like you said, it's the that personal touch that makes it really makes the experience. Um, what you have any memories that stick out about any of these hunts?
It seems like it's hard to say which one. There isn't really any like big because like each hunt has its own twist and way that it goes that makes it its own impactful meaning in its
Yeah.
own way.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everyone's got an animal, so there's always that excitement of
That's cool.
seeing someone who's never killed anything finally experience that, which could be a lot for people, and you don't know how people are going to take it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's
Uh,
important.
then there's just little, the joking camaraderie that happens.
Yeah.
We've had pigs come out of a bush where with Operation Hunt for Heroes, when we were only doing one veteran a month, there'd be room in the side by side for them to bring a guest to watch. We've had
Yeah.
a pig that had been shot with an arrow where we had been set up, come out of the bush straight at the guest that the individual had brought with them. And so there's been stuff like that. And then I thought they would be freaking out. And it was a female and her male guest. She was
Yeah.
laughing at him because he almost got run over by a pig. We had Vietnam veterans that obviously everything the Vietnam vets had to go through. And
Yeah.
he's real sheltered, short, couldn't really have a conversation. Yes, no answers, shoulder shrugs, to where um, when he saw the pigs, threw his cane, ran up on the tripod, shot, did it like woo.
Yeah.
It was all
Yeah.
like kind of back to life, all happy and stuff. And then it was like, wow, you got to see him be him
That
again, kind of stuff. Big
yeah,
things
see
like
people
that.
come alive. It's
Yeah.
funny. Uh, I shot my first wild pig, about a month ago, and I got to experience. I went out with a army medic, and I just remember we're chasing this one sow down, and we were hauling the side by side, and I just kind of looked back at him. I was like, "Hey, man, this kind of like movement to contact," and he had this big old grin on his face. I'm like, "This is fun."
Yeah.
And you see people come back to life sometimes, after maybe like Vietnam vet, years and years, decades of just kind of living below that level. That's a special thing.
Yeah. It really is. And then, yeah, it just I said each experience is its own experience because things happen different ways. You think, oh, this guy, even we've taken people who hunt all year, maybe not have killed the pig,
Mhm.
but go elk hunting, full
Mhm.
out adventures, and you're like, oh, yeah, you meet the requirements. We can take you on a hunt, and you kind of get that. Well, what are they going to get out of it, kind of thing, and then you go out
Yeah.
there, and it's like, oh, they're getting more out of. They do all those hunts by themselves, going on
Yeah.
hunts and messing with the guides. I've been at every one besides the first one we did because I was in a wedding in Washington. Um, like they're getting more out of the camaraderie than they are out of the hunting, and the hunting is just a bonus.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's like everything happens for a reason.
I believe that, you're right, Shane, and that the I've heard it from a few seasoned hunters because I'm coming up only in my second season of hunting, and I didn't get it at first, but they'd always say, you know, killing an animal is just one small part of a hunt, and a lot of them were saying like, yeah, for duck hunting, I spent a day in the marsh, shooting a duck is a bonus, and I didn't really understand it until I got to hunt with some other guys, especially other vets, and they're like,
Mm,
this is fun. This is the stuff that I think a lot of us getting out of the military really crave. We're like,
yeah.
this is what we're missing right here, right? I
It's
mean,
that.
how many hours upon countless hours do we spend, a lot of us, in a desert, just kind of trying to pass the time, making fun of each other, So
Yeah.
yeah, that it's a special thing. It really is.
Yeah. It's like you said, it's just more of getting everybody together to hurry up and wait, do nothing, and then the excitement happens, then it happens.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, side note, I think I don't know what it is. When you tell me if you experience this phenomenon, but sitting in the desert, on deployment or even a training op, um, if you have nothing going on, inevitably the like time honored tradition will present itself where someone will like pick up a little rock and try to like throw it at something and just like flick it. like,
Yeah. And then it's
I don't know
on.
what that is. Do you know what that is?
It's
Because it always
it's
happens.
yeah. It never fails too. Yeah. It's just who can hit that, and if someone does hit that, now it's the next furthest thing. There's the next smallest thing. It's just I think it's just the simplest form of taking things back to caveman days to where I mean that's all I can
Exactly.
think. It's just the base human that everybody can share and do everything that no matter who, where, different languages, everyone knows you pick up the rock and throw it at that, then the competition's on of who can hit that first.
Yeah, yeah, it's a universal thing. Uh,
Hmm.
well, for yourself for hog hunting, is how many? What's I mean, what's your favorite thing about hunting wild pigs?
They My favorite thing about hunting wild pigs is it's its own like just different challenge compared to everything else.
Yeah,
Everyone thinks, oh, you're hunting pigs. Like if you've ever hunted pigs and seen them in the wild, when they're way faster than you think.
way faster.
They're smart. They know, hey, if I
Yeah,
go up over this hill, then I can cut all these different ways, and they
yeah,
can hide in a bush, and you don't even know, and you could be 5 feet from them, and they just burrow in the bush where they sleep,
yeah.
and you'd never know. It's its own
It's
kind of
totally different.
satisfaction.
I mean, I've never, I've yet to hunt, deer and elk, but I've gone scouting, but it's much different than stalking
Yeah, and
deer and elk.
I think it's definitely more like you said earlier. It because I didn't hunt pigs. Well, I hunted pigs in 2013. That was the first pig I shot, and I've only shot one other pig. I just go along on all the hunts at Bitterwater.
Yeah,
But what attracted me to it after the first time is, like you said, it's that movement to contact. It's
Yeah.
not scouting and like everywhere back east, sitting in a tree stand and waiting,
Yeah.
um, which is its own challenge for people like me, where I can't sit there and be still.
Oh, yeah.
Um, to now it's, hey, we're just the best way to do is cover as much ground, and it could happen as soon as like my dad and me when I shot the second pig, the only pig I've killed at Bitterwater. It was like that. They're like, hey, we're gonna go to this spot down the road. It'll be a little bit of drive, and then we turned a corner on the way there, and it was like slam on the brakes, get out and go. And it's like I wasn't even ready for this. I thought we were going to this other spot 'cause I didn't do
Yeah. Yeah.
anything like this before. Um, but yeah, it's that quick. You get to spend time, and then everyone knows once you see him, it's game on.
Yeah. 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 That's I'm also thinking too with Bitterwater, it must be pretty impressive watching them, uh, dress a hog and um, because man, that's a tough job. Like
Yeah,
when I went my first time with with our guide um, from Field of Dreams up here in Northern California, he was letting me help out, and man, that's not easy, you know,
yeah.
to skin it and quarter and everything, but. That's got to be impressive to watch some people who know what they're doing just with the system get it done.
Oh yeah, it's I've done it, said mostly my whole life. I'm still not a professional at it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you see them if they'll be talking and then it's just like all right, done, next one. They yeah, it's definitely a sight to see in itself.
When you had your pig processed, you turn it into, I mean, you turn it into a sausage, or how'd you do it?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of just getting everything ground like my deer.
Yeah,
I'll get some steaks, but most of it I just get ground. With pig, I turn it into country style sausage.
yeah,
So
yeah,
then it's good for breakfast, scrambles, anything. Deer, I'll just get they ground. They add a little bit of beef fat, so it's not as lean.
mm-hmm.
Gives a little more flavor, and then it's good for tacos, lasagna, spaghetti, anything.
Yeah, that's good. I turned mine into, I'm getting 60 pounds of, I put half of it in bratwurst,
Mm-hmm.
phenomenal. Wish I had
Mm-hmm.
more, and half of it into like a Louisiana hot link with some jalapenos in the middle, and oh my goodness, like I it's good.
Yeah, it's a lot of people are like, oh, I want bacon, but you really don't get too much bacon if you do it off a wild pig because
Yeah,
they can have some fat, but it's not the same as a farm raised pig with all the fat. That's where you get it all from.
yeah,
Because they're close to, like, we had a 300-pound pig. There's one that was right over 300 pounds that someone got wild. And yeah, there was very little fat on it. But then its armor plating on the shoulder was a good almost 2 inches.
yeah,
Um, so it's get a lot of meat from a big pig.
yeah. I was man, the when it took three of us to lift it to put on the hood of the side by side, I was like, this thing's big.
hmm
This thing is big.
Yeah, that's the other thing I think people are surprised by. Even shoot it at 100 yards, which most of our shots are roughly around there.
Yeah,
I think the furthest we have has been right about 220 yards. Um, you think pig, but until you get up to it, and you're like, this thing's 7 feet long.
yeah.
Like, what am I gonna do with this?
Oh yeah, yeah, exactly. And I think about people who go out on their own, like having to quarter it and or drag it out themselves right there. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
that is where your calories are getting burnt.
That's when the real work really begins.
Oh yeah, exactly, exactly, man. Um, well, in terms of like what Lazy Lab can do, what can Lazy Lab do better to support you guys um, with what you're doing and what we're both doing?
I really think there isn't from what I see, and like I've worked with other nonprofits, I've been lucky enough to go to a couple of nonprofits back east for hunting stuff. It's really just keeping it going. I think
Yeah,
I think what with an Airbnb where it makes it more of like a 2 day experience, kind of little. I mean, if nothing else, little escape from
yeah,
anything that one day here, just relax, hang out. Um, to the hunt the next day. I don't think there's. I don't think we should. There's anything we do unless the grand scale of things for the best like I've seen is you have to jump it up to where it's a you know 3, 4, 7 day experience. But
yeah,
one that's hard for a lot of people to one be able to do with work and real world
yeah,
shenanigans going on. Um, that yeah, it's fun doing a week long thing, but it's harder to do. It's one, it's cost way more unless you have your own facilities.
yeah. Good point.
Um, I think we just keep it going how it is and just try and get as many people through as we can.
Yeah. Well, everyone watching this, check out in the description. We're linking to Operation Hunt for Heroes and Bitterwater Outfitters, and you know, it's just it's a great thing when we got vets coming together. I think people who never hunted just have a totally different picture of what happens. It's like it becomes cartoonish, even like I think in their minds of people who just want to go out and murder animals and
Yeah, think
run
of
like
Elmer Fudd.
yeah. When in reality, yeah, that taking the life of an animal is one part of it, but like you said, the camaraderie, coming together, taking the piss out of each other, laughing.
Hmm.
It's that's what it's really about. And I know that's as vets, when we get out, unless you have a job, like in law enforcement or fire or something like that, you're usually missing. So I encourage people watching who are interested in this, to check out the links we got down here and hit us up and see if this is for you. Um, yeah, Shane, this has been fun, man. I know we'll probably get together at a certain point. I'm up north, but I'm gonna come down and take part in one of these hunts. At least just
Yeah,
watching, even being there with you guys, and
yeah, we'll have to get you
it'll
out
be
there.
fun. Yeah, exactly. Because as you can see, my wall looks a lot lonelier than yours did. So
How mine was pretty lonely the last couple of years. It's finally been working out.
yeah,
So it's
that's
all
cool, man.
about right place, right time, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. That's awesome, brother. Well, yeah, it's cool to meet you on this platform, and I'm looking forward to when we get to meet in person.
Yeah, nice meeting you too, and I can't wait.
Yeah. So until then, everybody watching this, check out the links we got below. Hit us up, and we will see you next time.